Ani, bonsoir, good evening, and welcome to our meeting of September 4th. As we normally do, first meeting of the month, it's the Deputy Mayor that chairs it, so I'll turn it over to Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Bishop. I first would like to begin the meeting by acknowledging that we were in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area and wish to recognize the neighboring community of Doki's First Nation. While we meet today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nation people that call this land home. And with that, I need a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the agenda. Councillor Dave and Councillor Baum.
It is moved and seconded that the agenda be adopted as presented.
All those in favor? We have no disclosures of pecuniary interest. Being none. We'll continue on to number 5, delegations. I don't believe we have any delegations tonight. We'll continue on to number 6, reports and items for consideration. 6.1, general government. Nil. 6.2, we have finances. So we have the quarterly report that I believe Mark Fleury will speak to.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So before you have the second quarter report, which is from April 1st to June 30th, 2024. For activities done in the second quarter, there was the audit of financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2023. That was presented to council in mid-May and approved by council. And also the financial information return for the ministry was completed on time. It was due end of May. Once the budget was approved by council, we issued 15 requests for tenders, quotations to prepare ourselves for the projects for the year. An update on funding agreements and donations. We received donation from Canada Foundation of $18,300 for the Wally-Lamondin Park upgrades in Elbin. We also received $20,000 from the 2019 leftover 2019 plowing match activities. That was for Jules Chartrand Park upgrades. We also received another sizable donation from Albin Athletics for $5,300 for the food bank. For the funding agreements, we submitted a request to the Community Emergency Preparedness Grant requesting $50,000, and we were not successful in the application. And if you recall, in the capital budget, we already had this as financed through our reserves, so we're trying to lessen the impact on our reserves. Also in May of 2024, mid-May, the agreement, new agreement for shared services, short SEBS, Sudbury East Bylaw and Building Services, changed. The management of the agreement is now done by the municipality. It was previously done by municipality of St. Charles. So now that we're the managing municipality, we will record all the expenses and invoice the other 3 participants, the other 3 municipalities that form part of the shared services. Overall costs are expected to remain within budget. So now the line by line will change a little, but the overall will remain the same. Ahead of you, in front of you, sorry, you have also the Appendix 1, which is the detailed operating budget variance reports. And in general, revenues and expenses are in line with the 2024 budget. In Appendix 2, you have the capital budget variance report, and also you will see the projects are advancing nicely. and majority of them are expected to be completed by December 31st, 2024. Do you have any questions?
Anybody have any questions for Mark? No, seeing none. Thank you, Mark. We'll continue on to 6.3, Public Works and Environmental Services. We have 6.3.1. We have the Environmental Services Department. Kevin isn't here tonight. So you guys have the report. It's pretty, everything's in there. So if you have questions, you can send him an email or we'll continue on to 6.3.2. We have the quarterly report for Public Works Department. And I believe Martin is here.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to kind of go through the key highlights. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory. Again, this is for Q2, so from early April to the end of June. We had started the Delamere Road Rehabilitation Project, and as of Q2, we had started it. As of today, it is nearing completion. The rehabilitation of Dry Rapids Road was started. I can inform you that it has been completed in the Q3. Scarification of Riverview Drive, Montégarin, and Whitetail Road were completed in the Q2. And we did brushing and grass cutting operations were also completed. That's more or less all the highlights of for Public Works. If anybody has any questions about the report.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Just for clarification, under new entrance permit, is that an entrance for a driveway? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay,
For it, entrance is the correct terminology because an entrance could be for like a field or a secondary entrance, whereas a driveway is specifically for a residence.
okay,
So I just classify them as entrance permits because you could have a field entrance or a driveway entrance.
okay. so it's
But
not-
yes, it's to access a property.
Okay, thanks.
We're pretty much on schedule with the road. You know how we had certain roads you wanted fixed, pretty much on schedule.
All is being completed except for one road again. Lebras Road is gonna probably not be touched again this year. That operation is just to widen the road, just to help it out. And a couple other things have gone a little bit over budget, so we're trying to play it. We'll see what happens by the end of it. But besides that, I think 5 or 6 of the roads are on
Schedule.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions, for Martin? Okay. 6.3.3, the quarterly report for the Operations Fleet Department. Martin speaking to this or Mark?
This was Michelle's last report, so all the information in terms of fleet management hours and repairs are there. If there's any questions, please forward them to me. And as you all received the email this morning of the new person beginning on Monday, and we'll slowly get her into the fold with operations to bring up the information to date.
Okay, thank you, Mark. So we'll continue on to 6.4, Recreation and Community Services, the quarterly report. And I believe Jason will speak to this.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. The reports, there's not much, there's some hall rentals on there, but I'll give you some highlights. With start of our summer operations, planning and working on projects like JC Park, the beach, and getting the splash pad up and running. If there's any other questions.
Anybody have any questions?
I just have a comment. I want to say that the beach looks great and I've never seen it used so much this year than all the other years that we've had it. And that little path going to the beach was really appreciated by a lot of people, especially the seniors who didn't have to walk on the bumpy grass.
Thank you, Mayor Pedro. I too will say that You guys certainly had a busy summer, Public Works, or Parks and Rec, between cutting the grass and all the work that was done between Joe Chartrand and the Alban Beach and finishing at the hall and everything. So thank you very much to Jason and the staff and everybody who was a part of that. 6.5, Emergency and Protection Services. 6.5.1, we have the quarterly report from the fire department. And Ruck is here to speak to it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're going to start with our second quarter report for emergencies. We responded to a total of 25 emergencies. Leading the way was a medical response. Inspection and public education, we did 10. Most of them were visits and helping the library. Training sessions, we had completed 11. Most of them were 4-day OFM live fire training we did in Novel. Equipment check, we did 8. Permits, 10-day permits, we sold 12. Seasonal permits, 37, and land clearing 5, for a total of 54. Agreements, we responded to 2 mutual aid activations with Henby Inlet for 2 bushfires. Recruitment, 2 new recruits to Novel Station. Update on fire department, we had a 4-day live fire training hosted by the Henby Inlet Fire Department. So a total of 16 firefighters per day attended. So they went through the trailer and live fire. So, and we did also a 2-day motor vehicle extrication technician level. 5 fighters attended that training. Any questions?
Mayor Pedro?
Sorry. So with all this training, does that count towards their certification that they
No,
get out?
I'm not kidding. No,
Really?
so we are gonna do certification in November.
In
So we
November?
have the fire marshal coming in to certify our firefighters for level 1.
Wow. Well, I'll leave it at that.
Same.
Yeah, well, I think this training is fantastic, but I just think that it should have, the province should have recognized it as part of the.
Yes, and many chiefs in the province have voices their concern with the live fire mobile training as they provide the proctors and the
Mhm.
trainers to come with the trailers. So
Yeah,
we're hoping eventually they'll listen and our advocate for us to, yes,
well, and that,
everybody's trained.
that trailer training is pretty intense, so.
Yes, we start off slow and then we move up to more complicated scenarios and a
Wow,
little hotter and more flames.
yeah. Wow. That's all I'll say for now.
Thank you.
I just maybe say thank you to all the firemen. They were extremely busy for a while. It was nonstop, the amount of calls that were going out. So thank you guys for responding to all that. I'm just wondering, just curious, Mark. We've seen a lot of accidents out in Brit, and I know it's not our jurisdiction, but is there any way we could write a letter of support to give to MTO or something to get them to look at, either doing something there? I mean, something's got to happen. They have to have a turning lane or push the government to finish the 4-lane or something, because the amount of accidents happening in Brit is just terrible. And I know that MV, Lionel Fox says they have been pushing, but nothing's happening. So I don't know if having support from neighboring communities could help them with their fight with MTO.
Through you, Madam Chair, may I suggest that it become a SEMA agenda item so you can get all 4 municipalities on board as a starting point? And then they can go back to their councils to see how we can strategize cooperatively as a group and maybe involve other municipalities greater than ours. That would be my suggestion as a starting point.
Okay, thank you. I just think it's been unreal, the amount of accidents out there this summer. Well, over the last few years, right? So anything else, Doc, or are you good?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else have anything for Doc? Seeing nothing, we'll continue on to 6.5 5, Emergency and Protection Services, and we have Andrea with us for the 6.5.2, the quarterly report bylaw. You gonna do that on behalf of Kevin?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. So this bylaw report just outlines the types of calls and the number of calls that have been put into the bylaw department for the municipality of French River. Please note, 2023, 22, and 21 are all complete year totals. So 2024 looks to be less, but it's only the first 2 quarters that are reported. There was a priority this quarter for, well, and the first quarter for short-term rental inspections and investigations to be focused on. I will be giving more information in the building report about actual licensing. But I would like to open up to any questions anyone would have on the bylaw portion of tonight's agenda.
Anybody have any questions for Andrea? Okay, seeing none, we'll continue on to 6.6, Building Planning and Development. 6.6.1, we have the quarterly report, and Andrea will speak to this.
Okay. So first I'd like to apologize to council and any resident who might have read my report. The numbers for 2024 permit information are pretty skewed. The overall number works. You'll notice almost 13 million cost of construction driven by the seniors complex that started in this quarter and also work that's being done on our own buildings. But also investments as far as housing and other projects taken on by our residents. You'll note that new building construction is showing at only just over 300,000, where really should have been calculated at 2.2 million. I hate to make an excuse, but we did switch. Our GIS programming is now coming off of Chrome as opposed to Internet Explorer. So the way I pulled the data didn't sort properly in my Excel spreadsheet. Sorry, I didn't notice until this evening when I was making my notes for this meeting that the numbers were so off. So the overall number of permits is correct. The overall cost of construction number is correct, and this will be all corrected before the Q3 report for better reporting to council. If anyone wants any specific numbers, I can provide those at any time. Overall, though, the biggest investment was definitely from the seniors building and our own investment in our buildings in this past quarter. But 7 house starts is within what we've seen in the last couple of years. Going past building, you'll note the new short-term rental licensing portion and travel trailer licensing. We have issued 16 short-term rental licenses and have 22 in the queue as of June 30th. We're up to 24 now. Up to 94 occupants have been approved under those licenses. And then we've got the 2 hosted and 2 unhosted short-term rentals that we wanted to make sure we were tracking those numbers for council. We have further numbers that'll be kind of more reported at the end of the year. It will seem like 22 applications is maybe on the low side, considering that we had 50 short-term rentals that we were anticipating. But we have seen quite a few removals of listing. So we do think that there's people who have decided that this isn't what they would like to do going forward. So we do think that the effect of the licensing program has sort of solidified the people who do want to operate in the area, but has also reduced the overall number. So this will come forward in probably the Q4 report with a lot more detail on what we learned this year, because it was a really big learning curve. And then travel trailer licensing, the enforcement officers have been putting out notes whenever they see a travel trailer on any property that's being used. The application numbers are low, but we do have a lot of people calling. It's the time of year when people are putting away their travel trailers, so they are aware of the expectations for 2025. So we expect to see the numbers grow next year. And I'll open up to questions at this time.
Anybody have any questions for Andrea? No, thank you, Andrea. So we will continue on to correspondence. 7.1, we have a resolution to approve a grants and subsidy application from Paroisse Notre-Dame de Lourdes for a hall rental rebate for their 90th anniversary at the Alban Parish on Saturday, September 28, 2024. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Roger and Counselor Dave.
It is moved and seconded. Be it resolved that council approves the grant and subsidy application for a rebate from the hall rental fee at the Alban Community Center received from Paroisse Notre-Dame de Lourdes for their 90th anniversary event being held on Saturday, September 28th, 2024.
Does anybody have any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor? Okay. We are good. So we now have the consent agenda. I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Willie and Dean. Oh, wait. It's been too long.
Moved and seconded, be resolved that council approves the items of the consent agenda under section 8.1 and receives the items under section 8.3.
All those in favor? Okay, we'll continue on to number 9. There is no items from the separated from the agenda. Number 10, notices of motion. There is none. We have number 11, announcements and inquiries. And I believe Mayor Pajot wants to start this one off, so we will let her.
Thank you. It's just, I wanted to start because a lot of counselors sitting here have been really active this summer, and I know they're going to report on their activities, but I wanted to make sure that credit goes to where credit is due. And I have to say that it's been one of the busiest summer for staff and for members of council as well in the activities that they participated in. Summer started off after our last meeting in July with the affordable housing, the kickoff, which I thought went really well, was extremely well attended. And we've had a meeting of the board. The board was created, and Councillor Bob was elected chair of the non-for-profit, and I'm sure he'll be reporting on that during his announcement. Then we went into the French River Lions Club, held a very successful car and hot rod show, classic car at Dee Dee's. And again, another counselor was involved, and that was Counselor Roger. And I'm sure when he gets his turn, he'll report what happened there. And then a very successful family baseball tournament in August. Well over 90 teams participated over a 3-day period. And, that brought thousands of people into our community, and it was pretty lively. And I have to say, it was a lot of fun. I worked with Councillor Renee at the bar and selling tickets, not sipping. And but it was great to see a lot of members of our community and those who came home for this. Unfortunately, the rendezvous for the Mitsu was postponed because of bad weather, but they're working on a new date. Again, I have to say kudos to Councillor Bob for organizing the golf tournament over at Maples for Camp Quality. I know Camp Quality is near and dear to his heart because it deals with children with very serious illnesses. And if you ever want to get to Bob's heart, you just put a child in front and say, please, and you'll get it. And then also, I attended the Star of the North Women's Institute Harvest Dinner at Monetteville. And it was kind of neat to see because we had the right-hand side of Monetteville, which is ours, French River, and the left-hand side of Monetteville, which is West Nipissing. And those two communities came together, and they had a beautiful dinner and some draws and silent auction. I didn't win anything, but I got over it. But it also, our MPP, John Van Doff, was there. And we took the opportunity to strategize with him because we were going to AMO the following day. So the timing just seemed to fall really, really well. And speaking of AMO, a bunch of us went, Roger, Willie, Mark, myself, Dave, spent a few days in Ottawa, and we, thanks to the mayor of West Nipissing, we got invited to a delegation with the Associate Minister of Forestry to talk about solutions to our lumber industry here with the closure of Espanola and Temiskaming. And I believe that went well. Need to see what the results, but one of the things we did find out is that there is a chip program for our lumber mills to apply. It's a $10 million fund it's sort of a Band-Aid solution until a permanent solution is found. So that was quite interesting. And then I wanted to meet with the Solicitor General just to say thank you for the work and the support that we've received from him with regards to the OPP station, but for the fact that he ordered, I guess, the OPP to work with us, we wouldn't be where we are there today. So I asked Mark to go scout out where he was located, and he found them. And so then we decided that if we didn't have a delegation, but we did manage to squeeze in, and we were asking for a couple minutes. And what I didn't know was that John Van Doff had seen him as well to give him a heads up that we were looking for him. And anyway, we spent not just 2 minutes with him, but a good 5-7 minutes with him. And so we expressed our gratitude and I said, so has it crossed your desk yet? To see if, the OPP says not yet. Well, I said, well, he says, I believe in community policing. I said, well, then I want to take this opportunity to invite you to the groundbreaking ceremony. And you know what he said? I'll be there. So I thought, well, I took that and I figured that was our cue to go. So on a good note. And then also the week after, it was followed by the Helping Hands. And again, Councillor Renee, Amy Shopman, Debbie Chartrand, Jason, of course, played a big part of this, Linda Gagnon, and Bob was there, I was there. There was a whole bunch of us there. And it was just so terrific to see. And I know Renee's you're going to report on what happened there, but I have to say it was quite exciting. And then our library this year had some wonderful programming where it brought the elder and the young folks together through a grant program. And there were a couple barbecues, and those were very well attended. And so kudos to to Chris and her team at the library for making a great summer for kids and seniors. And then also, one of the things that we've been working on this summer is the new, it's going to be, well, I don't know what it's going to be called. It's Nipissing West OPP board. And I have to say, thanks to Carly, we're slowly peeling this big onion of bureaucracy. I've never seen anything so complicated. Anyway, I think you've seen the announcements have gone out for the public wishing to sit on the new OPP board, and people are encouraged to apply, but heads up, they have to take courses. We're required to become certified, all of us who sit on the board, and a whole bunch of things have to happen. So we'll be reporting on that over the next few months. And as we close the 2 summer months, it doesn't go without saying, this 4th year, the Alban Senior hold their picnic at the beach, and that was well attended, and they raised a couple $100 for the food bank, which was really good. And then finally, our rapids are starting on Friday. So exhibition game Friday. So hope to see a lot of people here. And I just want to say thank you to the staff for all the work that they have done through recreation, through bylaw. I know bylaw, it's been a hell of a year for, trying to implement some pretty difficult bylaws. But it's been a great summer and a busy summer. I just want to thank everyone.
Thank you, Mayor Peugeot. Who wants to follow that? Councillor Roger?
Yeah, I have to say that I'm very proud to sit with this group of councillors and mayor for all the work that was done or the support that was done over the summer activities starting July 1st. I know with, I held a car show. The weather wasn't too agreeable, but we were still able to turn $1,500 over to the food bank. But talking about the other functions, I do believe that I think I'm going to put an application in for Councillor Bob and Councillor Dave to go on to the Chef Ramsay show. I believe they've grilled probably a few thousand hamburgers and hot dogs over the summer. And I think they qualify as the Michelin star chefs on the grill. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Roger. Counselor Bob.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A lot of this will be repetition,
That's why I wanted to
and
go first.
I have no problem with you, Madam Mayor, going first. I'd like to start off to congratulate Parks and Rec and staff for our July 1st celebration at the Alban Community Center. It was well attended. Whoever ordered the weather, I believe that falls under you, Jason, that did a great job. There was some old folks like me and Dean there, and our audience was there. It was well attended, lots of games. It was just a fun day. I'll be jumping around here. Congratulations has to be said, and you mentioned it, to the library board, Chris Shadow, her staff for the 2 events that she put on at Joe Chartrand Park. Those barbecues were well attended. Again, the weather was nice. Everyone had a good time there.
Looking at his list, I think we should go for a coffee.
Yeah. You, Madam Mayor, you mentioned the family ball tournament. That is probably the biggest weekend people attraction to our community. All our local businesses profit. Whatever is funds that are raised at that tournament, they are redistributed in our community. The weekend seemed to go off without a hitch. And congratulations to that committee and the job well done. And I know, Renee, you are part of that committee. Great job. On the 17th, Camp Quality Golf Tournament, all what I'm going to say, was well attended. Rain held off, and I was able to, we were able to give to Camp Quality $4,200 from that golf tournament.
That's a lot of money.
Helping Hands. Congratulations as to be given to Amy, H&R Lumber, Debbie, Renee again. It was a great event, well put together. The entertainment was fantastic. Too bad the weather didn't cooperate later in the day, but so be it. And from what I hear, and I'll leave that amount to you, Renee, a fair nice chunk of money was raised to be put back for Helping Hands. It was also nice to see that weekend our washrooms that were open. Great job, Jason. It was appreciated by everyone. And while I'm on that note, I also had a chance to visit throughout the I didn't go by a lot, visited both our cemeteries, and they look good as could be. In July, you had your car show. It was a first. I think it was well organized. You and the Lions were involved, and I think that's going to be a good thing to grow on.
Yeah, I do believe so.
Also, the Rod and Gun had a couple of fundraisers. They had a golf tournament. They had a turkey shoot last weekend. The club seems to be gaining momentum and are more active in the community. This Friday, start of a new hockey season, first exhibition game from the Rapids. So let's hope the community goes out there and supports our team. And one last thing, I would like to thank Michelle Clark for many years. I believe it's around 15 years of service.
10.
10 that she gave to our municipality. Good luck in her new position and advancing her career. Our loss is St. Charles gain.
Sure.
Thank you, Counselor Bob. Counselor Willie?
It's good to be back. I have nothing to add.
Counselor Dean?
I listened to all the activities that went on, and I didn't participate very much this summer. I seemed to me that the summer just disappeared very rapidly. I guess that I did enjoy our July 1st weekend out there. I thought that was a fabulous success. I couldn't get over the number of people that attended and participated and so forth. And oh, I thought it was just great. But other than that, I didn't get to do much of anything except stay fairly close to home. But it's been interesting to hear everybody talking about the different events and so forth. And sometimes I think that I miss out when I don't attend. But in any event, I don't have much else to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. Dave?
I think everything's been said. I'm not gonna repeat anything, so I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. For myself, I'd like to first thank all Public Works staff, Parks and Recs. Great job with the washrooms, like Bob said. I attended the car show. It was amazing, even though I don't know much about cars, but there were some beautiful ones there. I know color and looks, and they look good. I know nothing about motors, but it was a very nice and enjoyable day. So thank you, Roger, for putting that on, and the Lions. That was great. We'll say hats off to the library also. They had not only did they have their 2 barbecues, they also had lots of events throughout the summer that were hosted inside the arena. I know that they really were thankful for having that location to be able to do some of the activities on rainy days. So thank you to them. There was a Trout Lake picnic. They celebrated their 70th anniversary this year. So that was nice to see. There was a lot of people there. They had a great turnout also. Like Bob said, the family ball tournament always gives to many of our groups in the area, and they had a beautiful weekend. Again, it was nice. A lot of volunteers there that work extremely hard. So thank you to them. Cassoulet had probably one of the biggest summers ever. The summer camp for kids. They had well over 50 children every week. So a lot of the kids did learn to camp in tents this year, which was a new thing that they added. So with the parents' permission, of course, and some of the kids really enjoyed camping in a tent because we know that a lot of the newer kids don't experience the way we used to go camping. So it was nice to see them camping out in tents and stuff. And they also got a new pavilion that was donated, the wood was donated by Chartrand for the kids there. So that was all built, so that was nice. The Helping Hands was an amazing turnout, even though the weather and there was a lot of things going on that weekend, but it still was very well attended. We raised over 7,200 to be put back into the park. And without everybody's help, none of it would happen. So it was a great, great turnout. And I believe that is it for me on that note. Does anybody else, everybody else good? Staff is good? And summer went by too quick. So, so we will, we are going to be going into a closed session. And so we will, I need a mover and a seconder to allow us to go into closed session. So Counselor Willie and Counselor Bob. And for those of you online, if you don't stick around, have a good evening. But if you do, we will be back.
I'll just read the motion. So be it resolved that council, my God. That the meeting be closed as authorized in the municipal act pursuant to section 239(2)(a), the security of the property of the municipality or local board with respect to the renewal of the facilities agreement with the French River Rapids.
All those in favor? Okay, we'll see you in a bit. Okay, welcome back. So we need a mover and a seconder to move into open session. Counselor Roger and Counselor Dave. Read all those in favor? Okay, good. I believe it's, I need a mover and a seconder for the adoption of the confirmation bylaw. Oh, sorry.
We have a motion emanating from the closed session.
Oh,
So we have
So,
the bylaw. Yeah.
a mover and a seconder. Counselor Willie and Counselor Roger.
So moved and seconded that bylaw 2024-35 being a bylaw to authorize a facility agreement with French River Rapids be read at first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All those in favor? Okay, good. Now we'll go to the adjournment.
No, confirmation.
Confirmation bylaw. That's in the adjournment part. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Counselor Dave and Counselor Dean. All those in favor? Good. Before we have a resolution to adjourn. So I need a mover and a seconder. Counselor Will and Counselor Roger. And I believe that is it. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us tonight, and we will see you in 2 weeks.